Hello and welcome to Alternate Image Raid. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video, and this is going to be our first clan boss video showing the team that I personally use here. I'm going to start with the team, who it is, and the setup for it, the AI programming. We're going to show the run, talk briefly about it, speed through that run, and then at the end of the video I'll show you all of their stats. So we have Khatun in lead for the speed lead. We have Demytha because this is an unkillable team and she is providing that boost, that buff. We have Seeker for the turn meter. We have Tatura Rhymehide. He is going to provide the block debuffs to make this affinity friendly for every affinity. And then we have Ninja for the damage. This is a very fast team. Let me show you the AI setup for this. Most of this should technically AI correctly, but we set it up this way partially so the AI doesn't do anything kind of stupid. So she's going to use her turn boost as a priority and her speed increase, and then we're never going to use this. It just doesn't do much damage. We're going to keep this going on here. Demytha, this is just set up to go in the right order. It has to be set up in this order. It will fail if we don't go first, second, first turn, priority, priority. That's just the way it has to be. Ninja here, I don't have this set up. There is an alternative that's supposed to be slightly more efficient that I've read about for similar teams. I have not tried it. My Ninja, I just go with default AI and it seems to work. Seeker, I just have the priority and Tailwind. This should default to do this anyway, but just to make sure the AI is not weird. And then we want to set this up so first turn and first priority is his block debuffs and increased defense. The increased defense doesn't really matter, but that block debuffs is key to make sure this team can stay affinity friendly, not take the stuns, and not take the slows or what other part of this particular boss. The nice thing about this team is absolutely full auto from the start. I do literally nothing, hands off. The AI programming lets me just take it. Like I said, this is affinity friendly for every single affinity. It will not fail, 100% chance, full auto. It is great for that. The only negative aspect of this team whatsoever is against force affinity, against red. It will still succeed, but with the gear that I have, I only get between 52 and 59 million on that one, so it does end up being a 2 key against force affinity, 1 key to every other affinity, although the gear requirements probably to make sure it's 1 key are a little bit stiff, although some of my guys could probably be a little bit more set up than they are. You'll see that everybody just like rotates through. We got the block debuffs up right here, block damage up. Nobody's taking any damage from this point forward. We'll all stay full health. We'll stay buffed. You'll see that this is 3 for 1 for Ninja, Khatun, and Demytha. I believe Seeker and Tatura are 2 for 1. So it is pretty stiff on the speed requirements. This is kind of a hybrid of a couple teams that I found on Deadwood Jedi, and when you are making your team for this, or any other team that is speed-tuned clan boss, I highly advise using the Deadwood Jedi's clan boss calculator. I will link that in the description below. I did use that to make this team the way it needs to be. And so let's just watch this run. I'll let it speed up, show you the entire run, and then once the run is over, I will go show you the stats, the masteries, the sets, because all of those are really important. If you have the wrong masteries, the wrong sets, or not taking those into consideration when using Deadwood Jedi's calculator, it's going to be a problem. However, you'll see this team already at turn 5 is 1 million damage a turn. Ninja's passive causes him to scale up, so he will actually increase damage. I think he ends up capping out around turn 10 or turn 15, and from there you'll see the damage just ramp up and it just slaps. So I'm just going to let this play and come back at the end of the boss. Like I said, I'll speed through and we will go over the rest of the stats. And that is the run, 73 million damage. Obviously, it does take a bit of time, 21-minute run, but it is one key, so it saves a little bit of time not having to do this twice, and the convenience of full auto just cannot be understated. We'll see here that basically all of the damage is Ninja. Ninja is 2/3 of the damage of the whole team. Seeker's providing a little bit with his double hit. He's got decent gear on him. And then everybody else is pretty much just getting their War Master, and High Khatun has her poison set, which I will show you right now, the stats of all of these people, so you can kind of see what is going on. Now remember, when building your own team, even though you're seeing these stats, I still recommend using the calculator, checking it out, making sure that your true speeds are your true speeds. So because this is a 3-for-1 team, for many of these champions, Ninja here is really fast. This is a fairly fast Ninja. He's pretty geared. Technically, his crit rate should be 3% higher. I might go try to re-gear him at some point. It's kind of embarrassing. Decent attack. That speed is almost locked in. There's very little flexibility with these speeds. So that speed, you have to be there. Accuracy over 250, and then as much crit damage and attack as you can get on your champ. None of the other stats matter. For this particular clan boss, they can be as squishy as they need to. They will never take damage. Before I move on, take note of the sets. You will have to plug these sets in the calculator. These sets matter as to what they are. Masteries, we've taken them into War Master to get that extra % damage proc on the boss. It does end up being a lot of damage. Otherwise, note I have Lore of Steel here. That will be important when you're figuring that in the calculator. And do not use anything else to increase his turn meter chance. No debuff increasers, nothing else. On none of your champions, if you have anything like that going on, these will fail. Speeds here. These speeds are very reasonable. This guy's only 2-for-1. Speed's easy to get. Defense, crit damage, crit, accuracy. The accuracy doesn't really matter against the clan boss here. He does have a decreased accuracy debuff, which doesn't make any difference to the clan boss. But I get the accuracy up just so I can use him in other content. Masteries, as with almost everybody else, we are going War Master here. Again, that's where most of his damage is coming from against this clan boss. And also, we're not getting any kind of chance to increase turn meter, nothing like that. Lore of Steel for extra stats, but these don't so much matter. So mostly, this is all the damage. Just make sure you're not taking anything that can proc additional turn meter. Now, this is the champion where it gets pretty rough on the stats. Because of Ninja's turn meter increase on his A1, the speeds get a little bit wonkier with him as opposed to any other DPS. So she has to be 200, I think it's like 296 speed minimum before she will actually work. It can go up to like 305, I think, from the calculator, but again, check this yourself. That's all that matters here. She's speed. Get as much of any other stat as you can manage to get on her, but I just got the best speed gear I could get at the time. I could actually probably retune her and get some more damage out of her now. I've had this team going for 6+ months, but that speed is key. And since the team works, I haven't really worried about tuning it past that point. Oop, I keep forgetting to show the masteries. Expect to see this on everybody. War Master for that damage. I mean, crit rate, the main tree, but again, doesn't matter. And as always, avoid these turn meter increasing kind of abilities. Seeker, we're going to go very reasonable stats, easy to get. That's also why he has 200% crit damage. We're trying to get decent damage out of the Seeker. Crit rate, crit damage. I have the accuracy up to so he can kind of be worked into other content. He's actually pretty nice elsewhere. He really slaps for a sort of support champion. He's noted as a defense champ, but his abilities actually scale with attack. So it's kind of an odd position that he is in. Unsurprisingly, War Master. That's the key here. All this extra damage comes from War Master. Now, the other champion that has a bit of a speed requirement here, again, this is the other 3-for-1 champ, is High Khatun. Not a lot of flexibility with the speed on her. There are some other Demytha High Khatun builds that use the same speed on this High Khatun. The Demytha speed is higher for Ninja. We want her accuracy to be up. It actually doesn't matter for this content either, but I like it. I could probably get her crit rate up, except I have her in a pretty decent poison set. That's why her damage is quite a bit higher than the other non-DPS geared champions here. You'll notice it's not even super amazing gear. She could be tuned up and of course, War Master. So in short for these guys, the speed tuning is key. Again, Deadwood Jedi Calculator, but if you copy my exact speeds with the exact sets that these champions are in, the number of perception, number of speed sets, because that matters for the true speed of these champs, then you should be fine. But if you find any struggles with it, again, link in the description below. We'll have Deadwood Jedi Calculator. And this team, I love this team. I had a couple different Demytha teams. She was my first unkillable team when she came out. That's when this was made. And this team just really rocked. Tatura here, you could swap out this guy with Brogni, or really anybody else that is providing a block debuffs for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. As long as you have that, any other champ doing that can work, but there's not a lot of them. Brogni's obviously a really good example, providing that same sort of thing with this ability. There's probably some other champions that do that. Check your roster, see what you got. But this one I prefer because I wasn't using him anywhere else. Brogni is so good, I didn't want to limit his speeds. You know, my Brogni here is over 200. This guy's 188. Ninja can kind of be swapped out with any other DPS that's really strong. Although if you don't have somebody quite as massive as Ninja dealing single target damage, you're probably going to struggle with getting this into a 1-key team. If you do use a DPS who isn't Ninja, keep in mind that some of the speed tunings are different. I reiterate, the clan boss speed tuner, Demytha doesn't have to be as fast with other damage. Like I said, for Force, because Ninja's weak hits, it will still work. The tuning doesn't break. But the weak hits means he doesn't place his decreased defense as often, and of course he misses his burn periodically. As a result, like I said, I only end up doing like 50-something million. It means the next turn you could cut it off shorter if you wanted to. I tend to just let it run. Something that's actually kind of soothing about watching these clan bosses go just in this perfect sync. But somebody else, I've considered trying to gear up Anax. I don't have him. Let's look at by rank. I don't think I have him 6-starred yet. Which kind of also gives you an idea of what my roster actually looks like. Now, I've considered using him. A friend of mine uses this guy on his team. He does provide a decreased defense. He does provide a weaken, which is going to help the whole team's damage go up. And then he provides a decent amount of poisons. And so I will probably end up using him, and you could see a video here in the future of this team revised with Force Affinity for Anax. Now, Anax also isn't going to be able to 1-key against blue, against magic. So this could be an easy swap. The only thing I'm not sure of is probably get his speeds with gear to where Ninja's is in order to be able to work this kind of team, particularly because he doesn't have the increased turn meter on his A1. So it's going to be kind of difficult balancing the speeds. If I get that to work, I'll definitely drop that in to show you guys in a video. I think that's pretty much it going on that we need to see for this team. We've seen the AI programming back at the beginning of the video. We've seen all their stats and masteries and gear. And you can use that and get yourself a completely affinity-friendly 1-key Ultra Nightmare team. Keep in mind, this team is exclusively Ultra Nightmare. It will not work as is against Nightmare. There's probably a tuning you can get to do it, but honestly, I got kind of frustrated trying to get Nightmare to work instead, and I just built a separate team for that. Probably make a video showing you my Nightmare team, but it's sort of just a hodgepodge of some other stuff that just have kind of overgeared champions to make that work. Here we go. So, like I was saying, a full 1-key Ultra Nightmare, affinity friendly, and it is just clutch having Ninja on there doing so much damage. This has been an alternate image raid video. If you like this, of course, like it. If you don't like it, that is still an engagement. And always comments if you have anything you want to say. Is there some champions you'd like to see? Is there something I missed? If there's something dumb about this video that I was just like completely airheaded about, let me know in the comments. And as always, have a great day.